Alhamdulillahi wahda. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'da. Amma ba'd. Inshallah ta'ala, with our weekly session on learning Quran word to word, as we mentioned before, and we keep reiterating the point, the way to connect to the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, after belief in it, to recite it with proper makharij, proper tajweed, and then contemplating on it, trying to learn and understanding it. And actual way to connect with the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through knowing the grammar and morphology, sarf and nahu, but many other things related to the Arabic language. That's a tedious process and not for everyone. It takes a lot of time, good 4 to 5 years of extensive study to master the subject. For common people, it is easy, inshallah, and easier to just know word-to-word translation of the words of Quran. And that way, you can get so much repetition, and inshallah, over the course of, say, 10 juz or so, you'll be able to understand the gist or the idea behind it. And remember, other than 500, roughly 500 ayat thereabout, deal with fiqh, which need a lot of elaboration and detailed explanation from ulama and fuqaha. Leave those aside. About 6,000 ayat of Quran are such, but we just talk to you directly. You do not need any scholarly explanation for that. You can just go through the meaning, and inshallah, you can find yourself connected to the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's our goal, inshallah. So, okay, so we've done 10 ayat of Quran, 10 ayat of Surah-Al-Baqarah. So as we mentioned before, the theme is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after giving us the idea of seeking guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has given us the whole book. That is the book. There is guidance for you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained 3 types of attitudes. There will be people who would hear the message and they would accept it. These are called believers. There are people who would listen to the message and understand it and reject it. And there'll be a third group where they listen to it, understand it, try to believe in it, and then reject it. So internally, they are confused, they're double-minded. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give 2 similes, 2 examples of that group, how there are 2 different attitudes within that group of people we call hypocrites. That they do not believe, and there's some who are categorically a non-believer, yet they proclaim their iman outwardly. They're two-faced. But there's another group which is confused. They sometimes, when they see the benefit, they try to accept it, and then when there is any tribulation, any trouble, they just back off. So they are in between the 2 situations. But anyway, so we have moved on to the group of people who are called hypocrites. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about them. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض
لا تفسدوا في الأرض.
When it is and إذا when and when قيل is passive form when it is said, la for them, when it is said to them, la not, do not, tufsidu, cause corruption, do not cause corruption, fi in al-ard, in the earth. So do not cause corruption in the earth. When it is said to them, don't confuse people. If you don't believe, just reject it outwardly or accept. But don't confuse people, don't corrupt. Seeing people and confusing them, say, actually, we are believers, but actually found there was a problem, so we left. So having two faiths, confusing people. Don't do that. So when it is said to them, do not cause corruption in the earth, so what do? قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
قالوا إنما نحن مسلمون.
So they said, indeed, we are not but the reformers. We are trying to solve the problem. We are helping people out. A very clear attitude. When they reject the truth, they try to confuse people. Said to them, what are you doing? Rather than apologizing, rather than regretting, they would come up with an excuse. Oh no, actually we are doing it, and then try to circumvent, go around it, try to come up with some, baseless explanation of their wrongdoing to justify it. And remember, that attitude could still be found. Remember, although this is a specific group of people, yet even within the community, our community, we would see people coming up with those attitudes. As remember, last week we mentioned about 30 different attributes which are found in hypocrites. They might not have rejected the truth, but these are the signs of hypocrites. So we shouldn't be practicing any of that. And if there was any doubt about that, rectify the affair. So don't come up with excuse. If you have been identified by someone that you have wronged something, you've done something wrong, don't come up with, oh, actually, no. Accept that. I just give you a quick example on this. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. You could imagine the level. Someone came to him and started criticizing him, saying, what have you done? What's happening? This and that. And you haven't done this, all the wrong charges against him. And he's Khalifa. He heard it all patiently. When he finished, he said, let's make dua. Oh Allah, if what you said is right, forgive me. And if what you said is wrong, may Allah forgive you. Amazing, isn't it? He did not say that, don't charge me with that. I am fine. Ask that many people. This is what I have done. He didn't start showing his good deeds that he has done. And he has done amazing amount of work. Yet when someone is there to correct you, they are there to help you, even if their idea is malicious, even if they're trying to cause you trouble, you are getting benefit from it. So pay attention to that. Maybe this is quite higher level, but at least when you are really in the wrong and someone corrects you, do not try to justify that. Step back. Many a time we justify for our ego, face saving. How dare you say that to me? Yourself, you have got that many problems. Why are you telling me of? I will do, and then you don't tell him off for that thing. You do yourself this much. All this is because we are so egotistic. We need to be a bit careful about that, because this is a sign of hypocrisy. So when it is said, now one thing you would remember, إذا, when it comes in Quran, it is attached to a past form, yet it would mean future. So that's why word-to-word translation, although we would say in our word-to-word translation, they said, but the actual meaning is, whenever it is said to them, don't do this, they will do that, or they don't have to translate in the past form. The words are used in the past form, but when idha is used, idha tend to mean something in present or in future, mudari, we call it, okay? So that is why the translation, they say we are but reformers, rather than they said that they are reformers, okay? This is just a nuanced language, which happens in every language anyway. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a comment about what they just said. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Beware. I said, beware, all you believers. Indeed, whom they are, humul mufsidun, they themselves are, mufsidun, corruptors, for want of a better word, those who corrupt, those who cause corruption. And lakin, but, or you can just say while, la yash'urun, they do not understand. La, do not. Yash'urun, they understand. They do not even have a clue about that. They haven't got the shu'ur of that. They're clueless. They don't perceive it. They're causing corruption and justifying it and don't even have a clear insight into it. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ
and إِذَا when قِيلَ, same thing, it is said to them, la, for or to, whom, them. When it is said to them, this is the next attitude. Aminu, believe. You all believe. Ka, like. Ma amana nas, ma, as, like what others, the way people believed. Amana, believed, and nas, people. Believe as these people, other Muslims, they have believed, they have become Muslim. You believe likewise. Have a true faith in Allah. So, ka, like, ma, as, amana nas, people believed. Amana, believed, and nas, people. So believe as the people believed means have a true faith, not internally rejecting and outwardly showing your faith, because you're causing corruption. So Allah is exposing them,
20.
removing the layers of their fake faith.
46 one.
قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء. So they said, shall we? Nu'minu, shall we believe? Like, ma, as what? Relative pronoun. As, amana, believe. As-sufaha is the plural of safih. Safih is foolish, mad, someone who is stupid. It's the plural of that. So as the stupid people, foolish people believe, shall we believe? Because they are foolish people who believe, na'udhu billah. So this is what happened when you have got corruption in your mind. You do corruption outwardly as well, but you see it as goodness, and you don't even have the idea about that. And when you see others, you look down upon them. Like them, these poor people, these Muslims, we're not going to believe like that. We have got better faith. So this is how they would try to justify their wrong action. So they said, Anu'minu, shall we believe? Kama amana sufaha, like the foolish people believed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala disclosed their problem again by saying, Ala innahum humus sufaha. ولكن لا يعلمون. So be aware, ala, be aware, know, indeed, hum, them, humul, again, to whom. So innahum, indeed, they themselves, that's emphasis, they are themselves, as-sufaha are foolish people. And lakin, but, la, do not, liya'lamun, they know. So they do not know. They do not know that they are themselves the foolish ones, and they're charging others of that. Them. They themselves. Who? Them.
Who is themselves? Whom is them?
Same. Whom means them. But when it comes twice, obviously you have to translate in your language to fit that context, which is emphasis. They are. It doesn't make sense if you say, indeed, they are. They themselves are the foolish ones. That cause the emphasis. So emphasis in every language is done in a different way. So in Arabic, it is by repetition of the same word. But in other language, it is not like that. Okay.
Lakin, is it one word?
La.
Lakin.
Lakin is one word, yeah. Lakin is your Urdu lekin. You use lekin in Urdu? Yeah. So lekin is the same thing as lakin, which is actually Arabic lakin. We have taken that in Urdu. So lakin or lekin, same thing. But. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا and إذا when
Wednesday you class
means to meet. When they meet, obviously,
loves by love
is past form, so when they met. So the literal meaning is met. But as I said, when إذا is being used, the past form actually mean something in mudari, something in present or future. When they met, الذين those people, آمنوا who believed. When they meet those who believed, when آمنوا, those who believed, the people who believed, قالوا, they said, آمنا, we believed. So to the believers, they would say, oh, we are believers like yourselves. So that when they come of some criticism in Islam, they would say, the new Muslims would say, if they're saying so, there must be truth in it, because they've been Muslim, they said. So they're telling us something from deep down. Perhaps we don't understand. Maybe they're guiding us to the right thing. That's how they cause corruption. That is how they confuse people. So when they're with them, the believer, they say, we are with you. So when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe as well. That's what they mean. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. And إِذَا when خَلَوْا يَخْلُو, to be in seclusion, in khalwa or khulwa. You know the word khalwa, when you have to be in seclusion. So when they are secluded, when they are alone, when they are khali, away from others, in the seclusion. Ila, towards, to, shayateen, shaitan, plural of shaitan, him, there, mudaf ilayh. So when they are in seclusion, alone, with their shayateen, means they were their accomplices, with the disbelievers, when they're with them, qalu, they would say, inna, indeed we, ma'a, with kum, you. We are with you. To the believers, we are with you. To the non-believers, we are with you. Two-faced. إنما نحن مستهزئون. Indeed, that this is the complete sentence. After that, they say, indeed, inna ma nahnu innama is called kafa makfufa. The way it is understood is, indeed, we are not but. This is how it is understood. We are not but. So indeed, we are not what we are only. Yeah, we are only. Nahnu, we are. Indeed, we are only mustahzi'un, mockers. We are only mocking. We are only doing this just to mock them, these people. Unka mazak ura rahe. Just to mock them. Allah says, Allahu yastahzi'u bihim. Allah mocks them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we actually mock them. Allahu yastahzi'u, istahza'a yastahzi'u, bab istif'al. Yastahzi'u bihim, with them. Allah is mocking with them. Obviously, don't use with in English when you need to use mock. Remember, every word or every language has their own way of construction. So you don't say mock with them in English, maybe, although you can say, but normally we mock them. You do not need a preposition after that generally. If you use it, that's okay. But that doesn't matter. There could be some words in Arabic where you need a preposition to it, and in English you don't. In another language you do not. But that's the language itself. So it's nothing as a problem. Sometimes you don't even translate those extra words or letters. Yeah. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mocks them. And yamuddu, madda yamuddu means to extend, give them respite, prolongs them, keep giving them chance to carry on, give them a bit of snooze, let them carry on in their slumber. Rassi dhili kar dete. Yamudduhum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let them carry on. Go as far as you want. Them. Allah prolongs them. Fi, in tughyan. Tughyan means in their rebellion, in their transgression, in their questioning and challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are doing that. They're going beyond limit. Allah said, carry on. Allah leave them. Give them enough time to carry on. Tughyanihim means in their transgression, Allah leave them, prolongs them. Ya'mahun, amaha is the root letter. Amaya, ya'mahun. Amiya, to be blind with your eyes. Amaha, to be blind with your mind, with your intellect. Ya'mahun, so they are just blinded in their intellect. They're just wandering around aimlessly, not knowing which way they're going. So physically they can see, but spiritually or intellectually they cannot understand anything. They're blinded internally, intellectually. So they're continuing with their transgression, thinking that we are on the right. Carry on, carry on. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى. So these are the people. These are them. They. الذين, these are those. These are the people. Ishtara means to buy. So they bought الضلالة, misguidance. They bought misguidance. Be in exchange of al-huda, guidance. They bought, means they sold their guidance and they got misguidance. They're happy with this deal. أولئك الذين اشتروا أولئك الذين اشتروا اشتروا. So ishtarau, and then when this wow needs to be connected to the dad, which is mushaddad, the first dad is silent, sakina, so you have to combine together to do dhamma. Ishtara wud-dalalata. Okay. Ishtara wud-dalalata bil-huda. So they ishtarau, they bought misguidance in exchange of guidance. فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ وما كانوا مهتدين. So ما would not. ربحت, ربح يربح, when you do a business and you get profit. So when you get a good profit, it's called a rabiha. And tijara is mu'annas, feminine word, so rabihat, rabiha, rabiha, rabihu, rabihat. So this is feminine form. So their tijaratuhum, their tijara, their trade, their business did not benefit them. Fama rabihat tijaratuhum, their business, fama, so not, rabihat, benefit or profit, tijaratu, business, hum, them. So their business, their trade did not benefit them. Wa, and ma, not kanu, they were muhtadeen, guided. Neither their business benefit them and nor were they guided. So if they had any benefit in this dunya, would have been good. And they're misguided on top of that, they're really going on the wrong track. It is only going to cause them a big problem in the life hereafter. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. So مثلهم, مثل, example. ضرب مثل, we use this in Urdu as well. So مثل is example, hum, of them. Their example is like the example of مثل, again, like the example of الذين, those people, استوقد وقد يقد. So يوقد وقد يقد. So that وقودها النار, وقودها النار, وقودها الناس والحجارة. وقود is a plural of وقد. This is the the ammunition that you put. It's like coal that you put in fire for the fire to ignite and get continuously burning. So the waqad of the fuel, it's a fuel. So the fuel of that. So what is so take the fuel means they seek fuel means they seek light. They seek to lit or burn a fire. So their example is, Allah says, like the example of those people who istawqada, who lit naran, a fire. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I mentioned, is going to give us two similes, just to extend it, to explain the two types of hypocrites. Who are they? So the first category, those in whom disbelief had taken deep roots. So they had little inclination towards Islam, but they pretend to be Muslim for their worldly benefits, either to confuse others or to get some war booty, some benefit, be the citizen of Islamic State as a Muslim, get some stipend, don't have to pay any tax. The Holy Quran compares them to the men who, having found light, again loses it and is left in darkness. That's the first group. And the second type of hypocrites are those who did recognize the truth of Islam, and sometimes they wish to be genuine Muslims, but worldly interests would not allow them to do so. And they remain in a perpetual state of hesitation and doubt. مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ. They are doing this tadabzub. They're confused. La ilaha ula wa la ilaha ula. Now, neither are they there or not are they there. They've been likened to the men who is caught in a thunderstorm, who move forward a step or two, and when there is flash of light, but when it is over, he's stuck again. So he would not find a clear answer because he's still double-minded. He's not decided yet about the faith. He wanted to be, but then this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained. So the first simile is, as Allah says, مَثَلُهُمْ كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي اسْتَوْقَدَ نَارًا. The example is, the first category is, that the example is like the example of those who have lit a light. Now some scholars will say the person himself created a light, he just ignited a light. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took that light away. When it was all clear to him, he could see the light, It was just taken away from him. فَلَمَّا أَضَاءَتْ مَا حَوْلَهُ ذَهَبَ اللَّهُ بِنُورِهِمْ. ذهب الله بنورهم. The love of Jalala, Lam of Allah, is pronounced with full mouth. So when it is preceded by a fatha or dhamma letter, zabar or pesh letter, ذهب الله, ذهب الله بنورهم, ذهب الله, okay, not ذهب الله, ذهب الله, okay, like that. So when فلما, so when أضاءت, he illuminated, means the fire illuminated.
Some upper marks, that means not ayat. So either
माँ की 5 types है ना, उनमें से दूसरा वाला लेकिन ये लम्मा एक साथ है. So there are different types of लम्मा. माँ इसमुक का भी तो होता है ना, क्या नाम है आपका? मसमुक, माँ नाफिया, माँ मौसूला, माँ मस्दरिया, माँ जाइदा, माँ इस्तिफहामिया. Okay. فلما أضاءت ما حوله. So when this fire illuminated ma, what was haul, around him, what was around him. Ma haul जिसको हम उर्दू में बोलते हैं, it's actually ma haul, ma मौसूला and haul, or we use it mahol. Mahol as a surrounding, mahol, Islamic mahol. So they use that, which is fine. Mahol means what is surrounding them. So when this fire ignited the surrounding, ma hawlahu, dhahaba, went. Dhahaba means third person, went. But when dhahaba is used with a ba after that, then it becomes he took. It changes the meaning. Dhahaba changes its meaning from he went to he took. So if you say dhahaba bil kitab, he took the book, as opposed to he went with the book. Okay, it is so dhahaba Allahu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we say dhahaba Allahu would mean Allah went. But B coming afterwards, B means Allah took. So Allah took what? Noor. Noorihim, their noor. Noor of them means their light. So Allah took their light. So they ignited that light. That was the light of Iman. They should have accepted it. Since they didn't pay attention to that, they did not accept it properly. They did not want to accept it. When they could see the light very clearly, Allah took it away. Says, you are not interested, you're not worthy of giving this light anymore. This is the first category. So, ذهب الله بنورهم. Allah took away their light. And ترك وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون. And taraka, left, abandoned, whom, them. So Allah abandoned them, Allah left them. In, Dhulumat. Dhulumat is plural of dhulma. Dhulma is darkness. Darkness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the light and then left them, abandoned them in the darkness. La yubsirun, do not see. So they do not see. It's all dark now. Now they are completely in darkness and they can't see the light. So Allah has given them this opportunity to accept the faith. They wanted to, they proclaimed it, they showed it to people, but in their heart they were not convinced at all. They opted to dodge and confuse people, the hypocrites. And obviously they're not going to get benefits. So they continued to be on that path, and Allah took the light away, and now their misguidance is seen as guidance for them. They feel that they're on the right path. الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. Allah says, So قل هل ننبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, shall I not tell you about those who are the worst of the losers, the bankrupts, those who got the biggest ever debt? الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا, those whose activities, all their efforts were lost in this world. وهم يحسبون, while they were thinking and having clear conviction, أنهم يحسنون صنعا, they're doing very good, they're doing fantastic. They just thumbs up for everything they think. This is them thinking. In the eyes of Allah, they're just lost completely. That's what happened. They have this light, they saw it, they believed in it, but then rejected it. Despite knowing, as I said, these are attitudes. Obviously, alhamdulillah, we do not have hypocrites these days. Perhaps not in, because it's not very appealing to be Muslim anyway from material world. Unless someone wants to corrupt it and cause trouble, there could be few like that, but majority wouldn't do that. So when you get the light, but we have the attitude still remaining. There are certain people who still have those problems. Our arrogance, our thinking big about ourselves would bar us from seeing through the problems. And we do not want to get any advice from anyone because we are all muftis on our own. Why should we ask anyone? And if anyone corrects you, he is your enemy now. If he corrects your children, he's the biggest enemy. You're going to find 20 faults in their children and put it on media and spread it to everyone. How dare he finds fault in my kid? And then they regret afterward, because then that kid is going to continue on the wrong path. It's amazing how scholars of the past would say, when someone tells you a mistake, subhanallah, the likes of Imam Sha'abi and Imam Abu Hanifa, they would say, if someone tells me about my mistake, even if it is wrong, I take heed. Maybe he's right. Maybe he will become right. Maybe I'm going to do that. So let me just get one way ahead. So that's why they would never be upset about someone correcting them. In fact, they would take it very seriously. He's a well-wisher. At least he's trying to help me. Even if his intention is not to correct me for a good reason, rather to make me feel bad, so what? Who am I? Allah knows very clearly. I can't shy away from Allah. I can't hide it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if someone is telling you that you are bad, accept it. If you're really bad, at least he told you the truth. And if he lied, so at least it will humble you down. Then not everyone think that you are the pious person out there. You're the only one think that you are the best. No one else consider that you're wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That control your nafs, that give you a big blow to the nafs. Keep it like that. It is quite beneficial to have someone around you. And I tell people that fear the day, and it is going to come very close, very soon, when you would not find people correcting. And very soon you would realize the loss. We don't see it as yet, because it is very, very heartbreaking for people, for someone to tell them off, especially in public. Subhanallah. You would regret when you won't find anyone correcting. And very slowly, we are moving on that direction. Looks like there's going to be a norm in future. So one last ayat, inshallah ta'ala. Summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. So although you see summun with tanween, two-pesh, bukmun, two-pesh, umyun, two-pesh. But all three dhammatan would be pronounced differently. The first meme is with ikhfa shafawi. This is, or not ikhfa shafawi, this is iqlab. Noon becomes meme here. The second one is izhar. Okay, so second one is because of huruf halq ayn. Third one is ikhfa. So that is why there's difference. Summun bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. يرجعون. يار, not you. يرجعون. So صم, this is plural. Okay, it's فعل الوزن of أصم. أصمم, أصم. أصم, deaf. صم, plural. So they are deaf. بكم, they are dumb. عمي, they are blind. Allah says, so for whom they la not yarji'un return. So they have lost their path. They've gone away. They knew, they saw the light. They accepted it, then rejected it. So Allah took the light away, and now they are completely in darkness. They could have returned back. There was a way when you take wrong exit to come back to the track. They could have done that. But for that, you need 4 good things. You should be able to see that I'm lost. If you can't see, how would you come back? Maybe you could hear someone shout, please come back. Here, here, here. You're deaf as well. So you can't even hear someone telling you to come back to the track. And it may be that you could shout out, please let me know if I'm on the right track. Am I lost? Please guide me. But I'm dumb, so can't even ask for help. And there's only 4th thing left, which was to cling on to someone. Take someone as your mentor, as your leader, as your teacher, as your guide, to hold on to that person. So you take me wherever you go. This person hasn't got even that much intellect. So if you're lost, what do? Just get connected to someone who is going that way. There was this small story about 2 ants. They were talking to each other. One said, my only wish is to die in Mecca. I want to see Kaaba. I've heard people go there and I keep listening to their stories. I never get a chance. But others say, how would you ever be able to go there? It's just so far away. You are in here. And as they were talking, a couple of pigeons just landed there, close by. And they started talking. How are you doing? I'm fine. Where are you going up to? Oh, my journey is to Mecca. Like, subhanallah. They just heard. So the other ant started moving whichever way for his chores or whatever. The ant who wanted to come to Mecca, he crawled and came and clung onto the paws, the what you call claws of this bird. Because he heard that this is going somewhere. I haven't got idea to go there. Since he said it, all I need to do is to just hold on to this claw of this animal. But whoever is going to go, I will be there. And he landed in Kaaba. So a sensible person could do that as well. But they didn't have even that, because they were not intelligent enough. So deaf, dumb, and blind, can't see it. And yet they're still having an opportunity to be on the right path. But they opted for not doing that. Again, this is not just them. Hypocrites do it. We see these characters all around us. We all see these things among ourselves. In certain situations, we behave like that. We want to see it, but we don't. We could have done that, we don't. Because my ego, my inner self, my worldly benefit would stop me and bar me from doing that. So these characteristics of hypocrites are there to be for the end of time. And the more you contemplate on that, you see, subhanallah, we've been there. We all make certain silly mistakes about a sin that we all know shouldn't be done. But we do it and we just blind ourselves knowingly. Those are all the attributes of hypocrisy. We shouldn't be falling prey. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning of Quran categorized that, clarified that 3 types of attitude you would see, and people would do that. Be just a believer, don't be a hypocrite, and don't be a disbeliever, and inshallah ta'ala, you'll be guided. That is the bare minimum level of Iman and taqwa we should have and continue to improve. So may Allah give us tawfiq. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه. Second simile we will cover next week inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.